Hey guys, how you doing? I want to introduce you guys to someone first before we start this video. This guy right here, that's Giuseppe. You may see him a lot in my videos. A good friend of mine gave me this picture. I call him Giuseppe because the friend that gave it to me is Italian. And I would say this guy's probably Italian, although I don't know, but probably he is. He cooks a lot, just like me. He loves to watch me cook. So, Giuseppe, you're going to see him in a lot of my videos. Hopefully he doesn't do anything embarrassing. Hopefully I don't do anything embarrassing. But here we go. Today, let's get into the video. We're talking about these right here. They're called ground cherries, guys. Ground cherries are really cool. So, quick backstory. Like a couple years ago, I read online about ground cherries. They used to be in all these different forums. People who grow like different fruits and vegetables that are not so common, and people who go out in the woods and wild forage. I do wild foraging a lot. I like to try to grow new things in the garden, so hopefully we'll get some videos of all of that kind of stuff. And basically someone did these ground cherries, and they actually can grow wild all throughout the United States. I found them once growing in a crack of a sidewalk. There's one little plant, and it popped up like 3 consecutive years in that same crack in the sidewalk on the side of a building. And basically, when they're fully ripe and yellow, they taste like candy, like Skittles almost. They're very, very sweet. The problem is they're very invasive. So you plant them. If you plant one plant, the next year you'll have like 4 or 5 plants, and then 7 or 8, and then 20 and 30 and 80 and 100. It's crazy. So I was, kids would eat them and sometimes chuck the rotten ones into the compost pile. Then they popped up. I used that compost, to fill in my garden beds, and I have so many of them. I might have a picture in the video. I ripped them all up from my row of greens because they just popped up on their own. That's what these are from. I could have had way more, but I really want to get rid of them. Not necessarily for good, but if that happens, I won't be that upset. Just because they're just so invasive, so they mess all the other plants up. And I didn't plant any this year or last year or the year before. And they just grew on their own, a ton of them. So the kids go out there, they pick them, they eat them. They're pretty good. And so we're going to be doing something with them today. Let me explain them a little bit more. They're related to peppers. Okay, this is what they look like when they're still green. Okay, they're related to peppers and tomatoes and potatoes and tobacco, right? Those are all in the nightshade family. If you ever heard of deadly nightshade, these are much closer relative to deadly nightshade than, say, peppers or eggplant or tomatoes. And they're also related to tomatillos. In fact, realistically, these are mini tomatillos. So if you're familiar with tomatillos, they're much bigger. They're green. Matter of fact, pause one moment, and I'm going to grab a tomatillo. Stay right there. And here we go. So I didn't grow this. I didn't grow any tomatillos in my garden this year. This is from my farm share. That's a tomatillo if you've never seen one. Peel it back. They're picked when they're green. If you let a tomatillo ripen to yellow, it actually doesn't taste very good. For some reason, when they're little like these ground cherries, they taste good when they ripen to yellow. So I'm going to put this guy just off camera here. Alright, we don't need the tomatillo. So again, this is what they look like when they're green. Then when they're fully ripe, they're like this. And I want you to listen. Hopefully you can hear that. It's like paper crunching. You peel it back. There it is. It's yellow. And then a little twist. Add it to the plate. And I've got a pile of the husks right there, which I believe you saw a moment ago. Alright. Separate them. Look, that one's tiny. It's kind of cute. Just putting them on this plate. Now, we're not going to use the green ones for this thing, but have a look. There it is, and it's kind of green. Okay, and even this one actually, it broke. It's got like a cut in it. So that'll end up going bad and attracting fruit flies before it would ever ripen, so it's not worth it for me to keep it and try to do what we're doing. I see one in here in what I thought was the pile of green ones. That's pretty yellow. It's got a little bit of green. It's pretty yellow. You'll see some of these in here are yellow. They don't really crunch much, right? They're not quite there yet. In fact, like this one, that's green under there. All right? So they're just not ready. I'm going to put these in brown paper bag. all right, and put them somewhere to further. I'm going to close up the bag, and basically they're going to go a little bit more. These ones like really tiny, they're no good. Just get rid of them. When they're super small, they're not worth anything. They'll probably rot on you usually. But yeah, I'm going to put them in this paper bag and put them somewhere so they can further ripen. That's the idea with those. Okay. Now what we're doing today, right? You see, I got out. This is my dehydrator. Basically, I'm going to try not to break it. Wow. We're going to dehydrate them. I'm going to put them on the dehydrator tray. Kind of spread them out. And basically, I'm going to make raisins. Now, you can make jam with them, you know, like jelly, where you just cook them down. They have a lot of their own pectin in them, so you don't even need much pectin, if any at all. And you can make a jam with them. And I've done that before, but it really doesn't taste very good, in my opinion. Other people may like it. Feel free. If you like it, do it up. I don't. So I saw them in the store at Costco in a big bag, and it said dried golden berries, and they were ground cherries. All right. And they were just, they looked like raisins that were a golden-ish kind of color. So that's what we're going to do. So they're going to sit there, and then I'm going to put another tray on top of here before I put the cover on, because I'm going to do like a dual purpose. Matter of fact, sorry, 2 trays. You'll see why in a moment. I have, if you can read my handwriting, which is atrocious. It's worse than a doctor's. Basically, we've got here some cayenne peppers. Those are from my garden. Whoop. One hiding in there. I'm going to spread these out, and I'm going to dehydrate these. I dehydrated some the other day, and some more have ripened since then. So I'm just putting them in here, ripening them, and I'm going to grind them up into powder. The reason I have like a tray, right? A tray in between them. I just want to create some distance, just in case any sort of anything falls from here onto those ground cherries. I don't want them to get hot. We don't want spicy ground cherries. Generally, flavor and scent rises in this dehydrator, so it's going to rise up from the bottom. So the ground cherries will give some sweetness, I guess, to the cayenne pepper potentially. And I'm not really worried about that because they're not going to lose their heat from that. So they'll stay hot. So these will get dried. The ground cherries will go. Got it plugged in. Turn it on. Guys, that's pretty much it. Ground cherries are really cool. I do recommend you try to grow them. If you do, though, you're going to want to put them in some kind of a container. Maybe you want to dedicate one garden bed just to them. And you want to make sure that, they'll grow out really, really wide. And they'll drop. So anywhere that a cherry drops, you're going to have a new plant there that next year if you don't pluck that up. Even if it's not a ripe one, it'll ripen, and then it'll just turn into a plant. Here we go. We're back. We're going to open up the dehydrator and have a look and see how everything did. So I had the peppers right on the top here, and I'm going to try and come like close. You can kind of see. You heard that? Crunch. And look. See how it just kind of, there's like a rattling sound. I don't know if you can pick that up. But that's how the peppers get. You want them to get like that. Okay. Now the ground cherries. If my camera person would come in a little closer. Okay, we're gonna get a look. This is how they ended up coming out. Now, honestly, it's slightly harder than you would really like. But let me go back a little bit so it's not too blurry. That's good. But I can still squeeze it, much like a raisin. Okay. So first, we're gonna actually give one to my camera daughter, and she's gonna taste it.
I don't like raisins.
Well, give it a try. You just might. Uh-oh, she dropped one. 5-second rule. Go ahead.
I got it in like 2 seconds. All right.
Take a bite. How does it taste? Does it taste like a raisin?
It does taste like a raisin, but it also tastes like a ground cherry. Now, I'm surprised that I like this because I don't like raisins at all. And this tastes similar to a raisin, but it also has my favorite taste, which is a ground cherry in it.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you for that assessment of the flavor. If you would pan up, please. I will join you in the taste test. Guys, it's actually really good. She's right, like that. It does taste a lot like a raisin, but it also kind of tastes like a ground cherry. So it's really good. So it really makes me regret, sort of, that I ripped up all those plants. But more will come back next year. Just, hopefully less than this year. But I'll be keeping them. Hey, I've got the dehydrator still on all this time. Doesn't need to be on. So we just put these in the bag. I got a Ziploc bag here that I'm going to be storing them in. You could store them in just about anything. I would say you don't want to leave them out. So don't store them in an open basket. You could put them in a mason jar. A brown paper bag would sort of work. I mean, just think of raisins that you get at the store. They're usually in some sort of a plastic container of some kind. Sometimes they're in that little cardboard box thing. I won't say what brand that is. But, that's usually how they go. So there you go. And that's, I think, honestly, that's a pretty good yield, for what I had. Now, we get to start the process all over again. Not with ground cherries, though. But guess what I happen to have some more of? Peppers. More cayenne peppers, guys. So we're just going to lay them out just like we did last time and get those started. We just harvested them, actually. My lovely camera daughter was out there with me. We were harvesting them from the garden. But we're going to go ahead and dry those just like we did the last ones.